Yeah, so we have a real serious problem here is we have all kinds of neighbors that have 5, 6, 7, 8 dogs, and they don't have enough money to feed them. So the dogs now have had this new habit of coming into the land wherever they can enter and trying to kill everything that lives down in our food forest. We have lots of big lizards, iguanas, and other things, and even some rabbits, and we find dead bodies all the time. And I'm not happy about it, so I'm devising a way to come up with a fence that is inexpensive and is very hard to penetrate. Yeah, bamboo has this habit sometimes of leaving these gaps. They don't grow together. I have a stump there, maybe that's the reason why. But these gaps are perfect for critters to come in. So by having wire mesh and other types of fences there, it will keep these animals out, which is very important. But in general speaking, these bamboo walls are fantastic for keeping animals out. Here's another little gap that a dog could get through. I have fencing there. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of how important it is to have either wire mesh or that sheet metal in between the wall of bamboo. So my plans is I'm going to use 2 clumping bamboos, and I can buy these for $7. What I do is I buy one and I cut it in half. So each one of these cost me $3.50. I can buy this piece of sheet metal, 4 feet by 8 feet, and that cost me $17. So for $24, I can do 8 linear feet, or 2.4 meters. It's 4 feet high, and what that does is it makes it almost impossible for a dog to get through the bamboo clumps and through this steel wall. I have used chicken wire in place of the galvanized sheet metal before. It works extremely well having the wire mesh in there. It just makes it impossible to wiggle through the spaces in the bamboo. We have bamboo down there that is 18 feet tall, 3 meters or whatever that is. And there still is the possibility of the dog sort of using their body to get through. So we want to stop that. So I'm hoping this system works. I have it in real life. I'm going to show it to you. But I think for $3, $3.50 per linear foot, per 30 centimeters, I can build this fence. In Ecuador, I know it's very cheap because the bamboo is only $7. In Canada, America, Germany, I think bamboo is incredibly expensive, so it might not work there. So I'm going to try this out. I want to explain what happens here. So I want to drill holes here, and on top I want to just basically have a wire attaching the bamboo, having a wire through the hole here, and pulling the bamboo more tight to this sheet metal or to the chicken wire. So I'm going to basically drill holes through the sheet metal every foot, and then just basically tie the bamboo tighter to the sheet metal so it's disguised. I want this also to look good. I don't want to see too much of the sheet metal. I want it to kind of disappear. If it starts to rust, even, a lot of people sell galvanized sheet metal, but they do tend to rust, especially in amongst plants like this. They'll probably start to rust. And I think it might start to look good. It might not even be so unattractive if it turns brown instead of silver. So this is our task for the next week or next month. We're going to start putting up bamboo walls on both sides with a piece of sheet metal in between. And hopefully that'll make a big difference keeping all these wild dogs out and protecting our wildlife. Our neighborhood has so many domestic dogs that are basically starving. They're all so hungry. Nobody feeds them properly. These dogs are let loose at night to fend for themselves. They kill our wildlife and don't even eat it. Okay, so here I have a demonstration in real time. So I'm going to lift this sheet metal up so it's basically 2-3 inches into the root balls. So I'm going to have, and I want the roots from both these bamboos to grow into each other. So I want some of these shoots from this plant to come up here, and I want some of these shoots from there to come up here. So this becomes really entangled. So I'm going to tie the bamboo together up here with metal in case there's a fire so the metal doesn't melt. So I'm going to grab the bigger canes once this establishes itself and tie the two of them together so it gets really strong. So the next piece will have another 4x8 piece of sheet metal, and I'm going to screw it here together so it'll be a continuous wall of sheet metal that is screwed together, or a complete roll of chicken wire, whichever is better. Chicken wire is a lot less expensive. Then I'm going to do this as follows. I'm going to drill holes here where the bamboo clumps are, drill it through and tie the bamboo together in these spaces. Every foot I'll tie it together, and that'll hold it together and it'll protect from wind damage. Once this starts to send the roots down into the ground, there's no way this sheet metal is going to fall over. You know, you have to pay attention to it. Don't do this in the windy season. But my suspicion is that within a very short period of time, this will start to grow up high. This sheet metal will stay in place. Even if it starts to rust, I'm okay with it because it will look really sharp. And I'll get at least enough time out of this sheet metal for this bamboo to be so impenetrable for dogs that it will work out really well if I have enough time for these bamboo to grow and this sheet metal will last long enough. I'm expecting this to have a life expectancy being galvanized of 20 years, and it'll probably rot most closest to the ground. So that's the fence set up. $3.50 a linear foot. In other countries it might not be possible because bamboo is very expensive. And I'm using a clumping bamboo, not a runner, not a rhizome-based bamboo that sends out runners everywhere. So I think this is a really cool solution, very inexpensive, and I'm hoping very effective.
For fire protection, the 4-foot high sheet metal would definitely be better than the chicken wire. So that's a big consideration if you're in a zone where there's lots of fires. Yeah, with all these heat waves, a lot of areas are really prone to fires. If you keep your bamboo super wet, always watered and green, it's really important that your bamboo is green and you remove all the dry material from your bamboo, and bamboo will stand up to fire quite well, especially if the canes are thick.